Our story begins in the year 35 ABY during the celebration of the destruction of the Sith Eternal, the Final Order, and the Sith. Poe was wondering if he and his ex-girlfriend Zorii Bliss could maybe start over, but she would shake her head saying no. This would be a shame for Poe, but he would be happy later on as he would reunite with Finn and Rey. Hours later, after the celebration, Poe would be thinking about Zorii and how he wished that he had been able to bring her with him, as while he didn't agree with the Kijimi Spice Runners, he still loved her. He and Finn would talk about this while Rey went to bury Luke and Anakin's lightsabers in the sands of Tatooine. Finn would say that he should try again, but give her some time. He didn't really know how relationships worked, as he was a stormtrooper for most of his life, but this was his best guess on how relationships work. So Poe came up with an idea. He would find Zorii, who hadn't left yet, and before she left, he would offer her a chance to do smuggling for the Resistance, as she could make a large sum of credits while making a difference in the galaxy. Zorii was hesitant on this, but Poe promised that he would do it with her, and he promised not to leave her again, as long as she promised not to commit the same actions that the former Kijimi Spice Runners did. With reluctance, Zorii would accept this deal, as while she didn't want to admit it, she did kind of miss that handsome face of his. The two of them would start a smuggling company that would be legitimized by the growing government that would call itself the Citizens Alliance, and they would make the rebuilding process much easier from their smuggling operations over the next 3 years. During this time, Finn and Jenna would be taking out the First Order remnants, which would lead to the defeat of Major Gol. Rey would be making progress in rebuilding the Jedi Order, with Jedi like Ezra and Jason joining, and Lando would find his daughter Kadara, thanks to the help of Finn and Jenna. And Kadara and Lando would rekindle their relationship after a while rebuilding her trust in him, as she didn't actually know him because she was taken when she was just 2 years old. And as for Poe and Zorii, they would begin a relationship, as by this time, Zorii was willing to restart their relationship. As Kijimi was no more, Poe kept his promise that he wouldn't leave her, and she couldn't deny his handsome face. And during their time together, they would occasionally assist Finn and Jenna in wiping out the First Order remnants here and there. And by 40 ABY, the First Order was officially no more, and Poe and Zorii would end up getting married, and in 42 ABY, they would have children. And a few years later, his children would ask, was that really it to the story? As this whole story was a POV from Poe Dameron, which he and Zorii would look at each other and say, that's exactly how we remembered it, in a joking way. They then said it was time for bed, and they would kiss their two children goodnight, and once they were asleep, the couple would walk out of the room and talk about a new smuggling run that they had for tomorrow in a rebuilt, free, and peaceful galaxy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our shortest story. Yes, I know, it's another short story. I'm sorry for that. I just thought of this one. I thought I should do it just while I'm working on some bigger ones, because there are bigger what ifs coming. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I do mean it. I'm getting close to finishing one or two of them. But anyways, let's talk about this story, shall we? So, Zorii Bliss and Poe Dameron having a relationship. That will probably happen later on in the timeline. It probably could. We don't really know, because we know nothing of the timeline beyond beyond the sequel era. Besides the fact that Finn and Jenna are looking to take out the First Order remnant or remnants, and there's a main villain named Major Gol who's kidnapping children again. And besides the fact that it's exploring their trauma, which seems like an interesting book, so I'll definitely buy that one when I get the chance. And as for just like these Resistance what ifs I'm doing, I've got a lot more that on their way, because I'm really just getting interested in the First Order Resistance War again. But there is still the second Clone Wars one I mentioned ages ago that's still coming out, and the Kalani one will happen when it happens. And there was going to be a third Mandalorian Grogu what if, but I've decided against it, because it was basically going to be what if Boba Fett saved Din Djarin and Rhoda and all that. But that was because I forgot that the Hutts and Boba Fett were at peace. But I rewatched the episode with the Hutts and Boba in the Book of Boba Fett, and then I realized that they were on peace terms, so that wasn't really going to work. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you guys next time on the Alternate Star Wars Galaxy.